Hi friends, welcome back. Today we're talking about parallelograms and their properties. Now, just a quick reminder, on our sheet here, quadrilaterals are four-sided figures or four-sided polygons. Some are parallelograms, some are trapezoids, some are kites. We're going to talk today about the properties of parallelograms. And what's important here is that you understand the properties of parallelograms because, as according to this lovely flowchart we have here, the properties of a parallelogram are also going to apply to rectangles, rhombi, and squares. So you want to know that how these properties work and how we can apply them pretty well, so that way we can do it for rectangles, rhombi, and squares. So, all right, with that in mind, we are going to take a look at this. So here are our properties. We have the sides. Their opposite sides are parallel. Also, opposite sides are congruent. For the angles, opposite angles are congruent. Consecutive angles are supplementary. Remember, consecutive means one right after the other or right next to each other. Supplementary means that the sum is 180 degrees. They add up to 180 degrees. Diagonals bisect each other. Remember, bisect means, and I should have probably put that on here, that means that it cuts it into two equal parts. So, two equal parts. So each part is equal to each other. Each part, yeah, one part is equal to the other part. Okay, so looking at that, let's take a look at this parallelogram. Now, do we know that this is a parallelogram? Just by looking at it? No. You have to be told it is a parallelogram, or you have to be able to prove it using some of these properties. In this case, I'm going to tell you this is a parallelogram. So with that in mind, what we are going to do is we need to be able to figure out what these sides and what these angles are. Now, if this side is 11, that means MN over here, that is also going to be 11. So MN, that's 11. If this side is 28, this is also going to be 28. So NO is 28. Now, the angle of the measure of angle N is 61. And if you recall, opposite sides, okay, so we know opposite sides are parallel. We don't really have to write anything for that, but we already did our opposite sides are congruent. We just went ahead and said, hey, they match up. But for our angles, opposite angles are congruent. So that means that 61N is going to be congruent to P. So this is also 61. Now, consecutive angles are supplementary. And so what we mean by consecutive angles is we mean, in this case, O and P and M and N. Now, supplementary means that they add up to 180 degrees. So if we take 180 degrees and we subtract 61, we end up with 119. So angle M is 119, and because these are opposite each other, angle O is also 119 degrees. I should put my little symbols in here. So these are both 119 degrees. Okay, now the last property that we have here are diagonals, and diagonals bisect each other, again, cut it into two equal parts. So let's apply that rule here. If you take a look, we know that BD equals 24. Find the measure of all the following. Well, let's again apply that rule. If BC is 32, then AD here is also going to be 32. If CD is 18, AB is also 18. So we've got AB is 18, and then we have AD is 32. Now let's talk about those bisectors there. We have BD is 24. So here is BD. Let's see if we can get that all the way there. There's BD. That whole thing is 24. If you recall, they bisect each other, which means they cut it into two equal parts. So 24 cut exactly in half would make this guy 12 and this guy 12. So BM and MD are both going to be 12. Now, because we already know that AM here is marked as 7, that means MC is also going to be 7. And if both of these are 7, then the entire AC is going to be 14. So those are the properties of parallelograms. Like I said, learn those, know those, make sure that you have those like the back of your hand there, because that's going to apply to rectangles, rhombi, and squares as well, with a couple of additional ones for each of those. Hope this helps. We'll see you next time.